On the eve of a brand new year, the time has come to reminisce on the year in film that was. Let's put a bow on 2025 before the arrival of a fresh 365. The Porter Report year-end special is coming your way right now. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Porter Report Year in Film Recap. My name is BJ Porter, and I hope everybody is having an amazing last day of 2025. For all of my returning viewers, it is wonderful to see you all again, and for all my first timers out there, welcome, and we hope you enjoy everything that this video and channel has to offer. Guys, can somebody please tell me where the year went? It seemed like only yesterday that I was giving the end of the year video for 2024, and now here we are with the 2025 version. It has been an eventful year to say the least, and I want to take a moment and thank each and every one of you who have supported me throughout the first year of the Porter Report. I have learned a ton during this period, and everything that I have learned is only going to make me a better content creator moving forward. But as you all know, the new year is coming up, so I figured now would be the perfect time to put a capper on 2025 before we transition into 2026. In today's video, I'll be giving you guys my yearly recap, which will consist of my top 5 favorite films of the year. This allows me to celebrate my favorite cinematic entries of the past 365 days, and in general, just celebrate the year at the movies it was. But before I give you all my top 5 of the year, I always take a moment and highlight the films that were honorable mentions. There were a lot of movies that I saw this year, and narrowing it down to 5 of the best is always a difficult decision. Despite all of that, I still find it important to give these movies their flowers because I still got a lot of enjoyment out of them. These are movies that I consider good and even great, just not quite good enough or great enough to make my elite list for the year. So with that in mind, let's take a moment and highlight the movies that still deserve some recognition and praise. Here are the Porter Report 2025 honorable mentions. Let's begin our rundown of honorable mentions by kicking things off on the Isle of Berk. Live-action remakes sometimes get a bad rap, most of the time for justifiable reasons. But there are times when one comes along that somehow manages to be just as emotionally breathtaking and immersive as the animated counterpart that came before. I don't think anyone expected the live-action How to Train Your Dragon to be the one to fit that description. Despite it indeed being a beat-for-beat retelling of the 2010 classic, the way in which it was crafted was what put it in the top echelon of photoreal reimaginings. From the incredible costume design, epic scale production design, grounded and gritty cinematography, as well as the visual detail brought to the dragons themselves, the film introduces a new generation to this beloved story and this collection of unforgettable characters in a way that invokes just as much awe as the original from 15 years ago. With the live-action adaptation of the equally acclaimed 2014 sequel arriving in 2027, there is only excitement brewing for how the world of Berk will continue to be showcased through this new lens. The next honorable mention puts us in the middle of the action of one of the fastest growing sports leagues on the planet. Filmmaking built around immersion and respect for the craft you're putting on display can do wonders for cinematic storytelling. No one seems to understand that more than Joseph Kosinski. With his latest film F1, he effortlessly captures the tension, stakes, and moment-to-moment danger of one of the world's fastest growing sports behind cinematography, sound mixing, and an in-the-trenches stylistic approach that creates a cinematic experience that is the closest you'll ever get to being in the driver's seat. The tandem of Domhnall Idris and Brad Pitt are electric in every scene they're in, as they headline a story that is by the numbers but still hits as a feel-good sports drama. In one of the year's best displays of immersion-based storytelling, F1 is the best example of how the power of film can truly transport you into worlds and scenarios you only thought were unreachable. After years of below-average results, the Predator franchise finds itself in the middle of a very resurgent renaissance. That momentum continued with the release of one of the most surprisingly deep, yet still brutally fun action movies of the year, Predator Badlands. Thrusting the titular killer of killers in the lead role, the film had all the incredible action one expects, but also delivered a well-structured tale of an underdog forging his own path, having the courage to go against what is expected of him, and in the end become his own unique warrior in the process. Like our leading Yalcha, many were unsure if this approach to a Predator movie would work, but Dan Trachtenberg's steady hand guided the ship and delivered another strong entry in the franchise and possibly one of the best characters the franchise has seen. With a continued commitment to bold storytelling approaches like this once dated sci-fi IP could soon find new life in the ever-evolving sci-fi action genre. Our next honorable mention is a film that truly changed us for the better. There are only a select few films in the musical genre that transcend the genre itself. Not many can truly be considered modern epics of their time. The amount of work, passion, detail, and craft that goes into every scene, every set piece, and every note that is sung takes an ample amount of patience and understanding of the power of the material, on top of having a group of individuals who understand the assignment. And just like its predecessor, Wicked for Good manages to accomplish that the second time around. Despite the fact that part 1 admittedly hits a little bit harder, you truly cannot deny everything that went into making Wicked for Good a more than worthy conclusion to arguably one of the great musical epics of the 2020s. From the incredible ballads sung by Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, its darker and more emotionally gut-wrenching tone, and the full-on craftsmanship on display in every single frame, Wicked for Good puts the cap on what has truly been a musical phenomenon that very well may set a new standard for musical adaptations for years to come. And we wrap up our honorable mention list with the third entry of one of the highest grossing trilogies of all time. James Cameron continues to somehow make believers out of doubters with his ability to do the unthinkable. Take what many people believe to be a franchise without a lasting legacy and make it something that is appointment viewing every time it comes to the forefront. The third installment of the Avatar franchise continues to be a jaw-dropping visual odyssey that always delivers spectacle on a scale many only dream of. It also thankfully has compelling characters and an emotionally reverent and action-packed story that gives people a reason to be invested aside from the pretty pictures. With a much darker tone that tackles themes such as the power of holding on to faith, the cost of losing that faith, and the utmost importance of breaking tradition in the name of survivability, Avatar Fire and Ash is another notch in Cameron's belt and a solid continuation of a franchise that is quickly becoming one of the best visual showcases of the 21st century. This is by far one of the best examples of narrative art that adds context and layers to the vibrant world of Pandora. All of these movies were ones that I thoroughly enjoyed despite them not cracking my top 5. I highly recommend that you watch all of these movies when you get a chance because they are absolutely worth watching. But now the time has come to reveal my top 5 movies of the year. I am fully aware that my top 5 is going to look vastly different from yours. That, of course, is to be expected and even celebrated. Everyone's cinematic experience was different this year, but the purpose of this video is to highlight and celebrate all the unforgettable moments that we all saw on the silver screen this past year. So regardless if you see some familiar titles or not, I hope you celebrate them all the same. And now without further ado, here's the list of the best movies I've seen over the past 365 days. Everyone, here is the Porter Report Top 5 of 2025. Our first movie of our top 5 features a collection of not-so-heroic heroes. Marvel Phase 5 has admittedly been a turbulent one for the Heroverse. Less than stellar entries in the franchise have some claiming that the once untouchable cinematic universe is finally losing its luster. However, 2025 has managed to be a strong course correction for the MCU. While the 2025 slate had some promising potential entries, many people, including myself, were not expecting the film featuring the unorthodox collection of down-on-their-luck assassins, miscreants, and lowlives to be one of the standout films in the post-Endgame era. Yet lo and behold, Thunderbolts, or as it should now be called, The New Avengers, is indeed one of the best entries the MCU has had in a very long time. Despite a good amount of homework being required to really have a strong investment in the ensemble of characters that appear all throughout the first 5 phases of the MCU, the chemistry and camaraderie between them all makes them such a surprisingly fun tandem that might very well make them fan favorites on par with the likes of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Florence Pugh continues to be one of the standout castings in the MCU as she leads the film with her signature deadpan comedic timing coupled with soul-crushing vulnerability. David Harbour also brings his signature brevity to the film, all while continuing to be an absolute riot in every scene that he encompasses. Anna John Kamen, Wyatt Russell, Sebastian Stan, and Julie Louis-Dreyfus all excel in their respective roles, with Lewis Pullman's Bob being an equally strong standout as he delivers a deeply layered and sinisterly nuanced performance. The themes of conquering the destructive void of depression, loneliness, trauma, and despair make this film such a timely commentary on mental health, while also genuinely being one of the funniest MCU films to date. It truly is incredible to know that a film that came in with little to no expectations has now become a standout chapter in the Marvel Cinematic portfolio that has everybody giddy with excitement, knowing that we will get to see a lot of these characters again in the upcoming assembling taking place a little under a year from now. It may not be the team that we asked for, but we are absolutely happy to have the services of the New Avengers as a proud member of the Porter Report's Top 5 of 2025. Our second film of our top 5 closes the book on a storied legacy of action-based storytelling. There is an array of films within the action genre that have left an indelible mark on the genre as a whole. However, with the constantly evolving cinematic landscape, it has proven difficult for a number of storytellers and actors to keep up with the times. Then there is the living legend himself, Tom Cruise, who against all odds manages to push himself to the limit time and time again, all in the name of creating a cinematic experience that is real, authentic, and creates a genuine sense of awe for moviegoers everywhere. After nearly 30 years with the franchise that has become one of the most consistently envelope-pushing IPs, when it comes to large-scale action blockbusters, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning closes the book on nearly 3 decades of storytelling in an emotional and full-on, no-holds-barred showstopper with death-defying stunt work, tension-laden action, and jaw-dropping connective threads that connect nearly every entry to the franchise in ways you'll never see coming. From the nail-biting deep dive sequence to the heart-pounding climactic biplane chase, you truly won't find an action showcase that pushes the limits of large-scale blockbuster filmmaking as hard this year. The final entry in the story of Ethan Hunt and his comrades within the IMF is everything you could ask for in a closing chapter that is a shining example of what dedication to the art of action-based storytelling can do for the genre and the film industry as a whole. This was absolutely a mission worth accepting, and we should all be grateful for all that it was and everything that led to it, as Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning becomes a worthy recruit to the Porter Report's 2025 Top 5 Best in Film. Film number 3 of the top 5 reintroduces us to the Man of Steel. The noble son of Krypton has had many iterations in his 85-plus year history. In the cinematic realm, attempts in recent years have seen less than impressive results, with some claiming that the essence and the soul of the character have been lost in the eyes of those looking to bring him to life. As the new head of DC Studios, James Gunn was given the monumental task of bringing Kal-El back to the big screen in a way that was authentic to the core ideals of the character and what he truly stood for. I'm happy to say that DC Studios' Superman thankfully accomplishes that feat in thrilling and heartfelt fashion. The opening chapter of the newly christened DCU brings one of the comic medium's most influential figures to a new generation in an action-packed, chaotically fun, and emotionally earnest cinematic thrill ride. David Cornsweet delivers a version of Superman that is relatable and grounded in the ways of humility, compassion, and empathy, making him a character that you genuinely want to see rise above the odds that look to bring him down. The equally incredible talent surrounding our titular character, including the headstrong and steadfast Lois Lane, the cool-headed and supremely confident Mr. Terrific, and the unhinged harbinger of chaos Lex Luthor, just to name a few, make this a world filled with compelling characters that are just as engaging as the titular Man of Tomorrow. This film can truly be looked at as one of the genre's biggest signs of rejuvenation and a new iteration of this iconic character that paints an exciting and promising picture for this new era of DC interconnected storytelling. Look up in the sky, for this cinematic heroverse has a shining symbol of hope for the future in the form of DC Studios' Superman, a powerful addition to the Porter Report's Top 5 of 2025. Movie number 4 of our top 5 of the year has the MCU bringing us along for an out-of-this-world family affair. In the 80-plus years that Marvel has been in existence, one of the most expansive corners of the universe has been shaped by the adventures of Reed Richards, Susan and Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm. For as grandiose as the quartet's endeavors have been, the film portfolio has never really been able to capture the epic scale of their adventures or the vital family dynamic that is at the heart of these iconic characters. Those concerns can now be put to bed because after 20 years and 3 separate attempts, the Fantastic Four now have a cinematic showcase that is the most authentic portrayal of Marvel's first family. The Fantastic Four First Steps masterfully blends its retro-futuristic aesthetic with large-scale action and a strong character-driven plot that is never devoid of stakes. But the heart of the movie is without question the titular characters themselves are wonderfully brought to life by Ebon Moss-Backrack, Joseph Quinn, Pedro Pascal, and Vanessa Kirby. From Ben's lovable personality and Yancey Street grit, Reed's calculated yet morally great complexity, Johnny's nobility and valor, and Sue Storm's unshakable iron will, these are by far the most engaging iterations of these characters I've seen, and I am excited to see how they will grow and develop within the MCU, and how they will interact with the various other heroes that also inhabit the cinematic universe. Marvel Studios just got a much needed shot in the arm as we head into the culmination of the multiverse saga as the Fantastic Four First Steps soars into its place on the Porter Report 2025 Top 5. Our final movie of this year's top 5 has us returning to the place where anyone can be anything. The 2020s have been quite tumultuous for one of the flagship studios within the Walt Disney Company. Aside from a few standouts earlier in the decade, some of the more recent films released since haven't lived up to the same level of quality storytelling prestige that has defined Disney's animation division. So it was very easy to feel apprehensive when the announcement of a sequel to the Academy Award-winning 2016 animated classic became reality. But in one of the biggest reliefs of the year, Zootopia 2 manages to be a top-tier follow-up that expands the world while also delivering a story that is just as impactful and hilariously invigorating as the first. As a fan of this world and the characters within it, I was elated to reunite with Nick, Judy, and the plethora of other familiar faces, as well as get introduced to some new faces, including the hilariously chaotic Nibbles Maplestick and the lovable and huggable Gary D. Snake, played by the equally lovable Kiwi Kwan. In addition to all the wild and crazy action and hilarious hijinks throughout, the movie also bolsters strong writing and character development within a narrative about the importance of ensuring that history is preserved and protected from those looking to change or erase that history for the sake of control and superiority. I couldn't be more overjoyed experiencing this stellar second entry in a franchise that is well on its way to becoming one of Disney's top echelon IPs. There isn't a better animated adventure this year to truly go wild about than the jubilant escapades of Zootopia 2, a more than worthy addition to the Porter Report Top 5 of 2025. Every year without fail, it is always a tough process to determine my 5 favorite movies of a calendar year. Things like how the movie made me feel, the characters, the writing, the entertainment value. That and a bevy of other factors are things that I have to consider whenever I'm making my final picks. But in the end, I'm happy to say that I absolutely stand by the fact that I consider these 5 movies behind me the best of 2025. I hope that if you've seen any of these incredible films, you've enjoyed them as much as I did, and I also hope that you take the time to go see them if you haven't had a chance to do so. But now that I've shared my list, the time has come to kick it to all of you. Head down into the comments below and give me your top 5 movies of 2025. Feel free to highlight the movies that I didn't cover in my list that me and so many others should catch when the opportunity arises. This first year of the Porter Report has been memorable, and I once again want to thank each and every one of you for the love and support you've given this channel, and I pray I continue to have that love and support for years to come. Stay tuned to the channel for more videos, including our next one, as we look ahead to the movies coming our way in 2026. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend to stop on by. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their New Year's Eve, and until next time, I'm BJ Porter of the Porter Report, signing off for 2025.